A dimly lit cafe, the kind that smells of espresso and quiet betrayals. The words still echoed in her mind, precise and sharp, like a needle slipping under the skin. You never forget someone like me, Emily. A smirk, a lingering glance, and then he walked away. She didn't run after him, didn't cry, didn't even blink. Instead, she straightened her coat, exhaled slowly, and left. The air outside was crisp, the city lights blurring in the early evening haze. Her heels clicked against the pavement, deliberate and steady. If someone had been watching, they might have thought she was in shock. But they'd be wrong. She wasn't broken. She was calculating. As Emily walked, she replayed the past 2 years with Aiden. No, Adam, his name didn't deserve softness anymore. The months of deception, the way he had twisted reality until she second-guessed herself, the little lies, the way his phone was always face down, the half-truths that felt like acid on her skin, the gaslighting, the slow unraveling of who she was. But here was the part Adam never saw coming. She had learned. He thought he was the only one who could manipulate, the only one who could set the rules of the game, but he had underestimated her, and that was his first mistake. Step 1, observation. Emily pulled out her phone as she turned the corner onto her street. Social media was an open book for people like Adam, the ones who performed their lives for an audience. There she was, the new girlfriend, soft, smiling, a little naive in the way she clung to his arm in the latest photo. Sophia. Emily saved the image. Her first move had been decided. By the time she reached her apartment, she already knew what she had to do. She slipped off her coat, set her phone down, and went to pour herself a glass of wine. This wasn't about revenge. Not in the way Adam would have expected. No, she wasn't going to scream, wasn't going to expose him in some melodramatic scene. She was going to let him destroy himself. But first, she needed to become someone else. With a quiet smile, Emily opened a new browser tab, a fresh email, a new name, a new identity. Within minutes, she had created Eva Monroe, an art student with a love for literature and long, thoughtful conversations. Sophia, she knew, wouldn't be able to resist someone like her. Hook said. Now the real game began. Sophia's profile was easy to find. Too easy. Emily scrolled through the curated snapshots of someone eager to be adored. Polaroids of cafe dates, blurry concert videos, soft-filtered selfies captioned with "in love and loved," or "some fairy tales are real." Poor thing. She wasn't the first, and she wouldn't be the last. Adam loved women like Sophia? Girls who still believed in the magic of love, who thought that devotion could fix a man's flaws. Emily had been one of them once. But that was before she learned the rules of survival. She tapped into her new account, Eva Monroe, and sent Sophia a friend request. Nothing too forward, just a quiet, friendly presence. She engaged subtly at first, reacting to stories, leaving the occasional like. When Sophia posted a picture of a book on her bedside table, Emily commented, "Oh, I love this one. That last chapter destroyed me. What'd you think of it so far?" Not intrusive, not suspicious, just someone with shared interests. Sophia replied within an hour. Hook set. The art of doubt. Friendship, Emily knew, was a slow burn. Trust wasn't built in a day. She didn't flood Sophia with attention, but let her presence settle like a gentle drizzle. Something just noticeable enough to become familiar. Over the next 2 weeks, their conversations grew natural. Shared book recommendations turned into late-night chats. Sophia started confiding in her. You know that feeling when everything is perfect but something still feels off? Emily felt a shiver of satisfaction. "What do you mean?" she typed back, pretending she didn't already know. "I don't know, it's just... Adam is amazing, but sometimes I catch him looking at his phone and he tilts the screen away or he disappears for hours and just says he was busy. Maybe I'm overthinking." Emily let the silence stretch before responding. "You ever read Gone Girl?" A pause. Yeah, why? It's just interesting how people can be two completely different versions of themselves. The person they show you and the person they really are. Sophia didn't respond right away. Emily imagined her sitting there, phone in hand, biting her lip as doubt wriggled under her skin. Emily could have given her the truth right then, but that wasn't the point. Sophia needed to find it on her own. The best way to shatter trust was not through accusations, but through questions. subtle whispers that made a person doubt what they already knew. So she planted the next seed. Hey, totally random, but does Adam like cats? No, he hates them, says he's allergic. Why? Emily hesitated just long enough to make it seem unintentional. Oh, no reason. I just saw a post on someone's story the other day. Looked like him holding a cat. Probably nothing. She knew. Sophia wouldn't let it go. The mind didn't work that way. Once you noticed something, you started seeing it everywhere. The trick was making Sophia doubt her own reality. Cracks in the foundation. The next week, Emily watched from the shadows as Sophia unraveled. She wasn't obvious about it, but Emily knew the signs. The slight change in posting habits, the way she stopped tagging Adam and everything, the new hesitance in her captions. The fairy tale was cracking. Then, late one night, a message popped up. Ava, can I tell you something weird? Emily let a minute pass. Of course. What's up? I checked Adam's messages. Emily's heartbeat picked up. Oh, I wasn't even going to, but something felt off. I saw a name I didn't recognize in his texts, so I clicked it. The messages were deleted. All of them. Who does that? Emily imagined Sophia staring at the empty chat, scrolling up and down as if messages would suddenly reappear. Maybe he just clears his inbox, Emily suggested, careful not to push too hard. No, I checked. The only conversations he deletes are with this one number. Why would he do that? Emily could almost taste the victory, but she wasn't done yet. I don't know, but if it were me, I'd want to know what he's hiding. Sophia's typing bubble appeared. Then stopped, then started again. Oh, Emily smiled. I have an idea. Emily knew that once a seed of doubt was planted, it only took a little water to make it grow into something uncontrollable. Sophia was already spiraling, but she wasn't there yet, not fully. That was the danger of uncertainty. It made people retreat, second-guess themselves. She needed Sophia desperate for the truth, and desperation made people reckless. Whispers in the dark. I have an idea. Sophia didn't respond for a full 5 minutes. Emily could imagine her hesitation, her finger hovering over the keyboard, torn between fear and the unshakable need to know. Finally, a message popped up. Tell me. Emily leaned back in her chair. She had already anticipated this moment, planned for it. It had to feel organic, like Sophia was making the choices herself. You trust him, right? I mean, yeah, but then there's nothing to worry about. Emily let the words hang. People always responded more strongly to the things left unsaid. Unless you think there is something to worry about. Sophia's reply came fast. I just don't get why he'd delete messages. If there's nothing to hide, why do that? Emily typed slowly, carefully. I guess there's only one way to know for sure. The art of the setup. Emily's plan had already been in motion before Sophia even asked. She'd learned everything she needed. Adam's patterns, his tells, his weaknesses. The biggest one, he underestimated people, especially women. Look, Emily finally sent, if you really want answers, I know a way to get them. But it depends on how far you're willing to go. A long pause. How far? Emily smiled. Far enough to see who he really is. She let Sophia sit with that for a while. If she pushed too fast, Sophia would recoil. But if she dangled just enough of the truth, Sophia would come to the conclusion herself. And then, like clockwork, the next message came. I need to know. The trap is set. Step 1, the test message. Tell him you saw a weird DM from a girl on his phone but didn't open it in time. Sophia's reply was instant. Why? Because if he has nothing to hide, he'll say what DM and move on. But if he does, he'll freak out and over-explain. Emily knew men like Adam. They never reacted calmly when caught off guard. They scrambled, tripped over their own lies, tried to cover tracks that hadn't even been exposed yet. Sophia hesitated, but then, okay, I just sent it. Emily tapped her fingers against her desk, waiting. It didn't take long. Holy shit. What happened? He immediately called me. Said he doesn't know anything about a message, but started asking me all these questions, like if I took his phone, if I was snooping. Then he got pissed and said people probably hack his account all the time. WT. Emily almost laughed. Classic. Wow. Kind of an overreaction, don't you think? Yes, what do I do? Emily already had the next step ready. Do nothing. Let him think he's in the clear. She needed Adam to get comfortable again, to slip into his arrogance. That's when people made mistakes. Behind closed screens. 2 nights later, Emily sent Sophia another message. Is he still acting weird? Yes, but now he's overly nice. Keeps bringing me coffee, telling me I'm beautiful. It feels off. Emily smirked. Guilt had a way of making men like Adam overcompensate. Perfect. This is what you're going to do next. Sophia was already too deep to back out now. What? Tell him your phone died and you need to borrow his for a second. Ask him to open his Instagram and let you reply to your friend real quick. He'll never let me. Exactly. When it came to liars, it was never about what they said. It was about what they refused to do. The moment it all unraveled. It took an hour before Sophia messaged again. I asked. He completely froze, then laughed and said his phone is acting up today. I told him he could use mine to log in. He said he forgot his password. Then he suddenly had to go meet a friend. Emily exhaled slowly. There it was. You already know, don't you? She typed a pause. Yeah. Emily let the silence stretch, then sent the final piece of the puzzle. Ready for a proof. She attached the screenshots. Messages, photos, conversations Adam thought had been erased. The women weren't just Sophia, there were others. Sophia's world cracked in half. Her reply came minutes later, shaky and short. What do I do? Emily's fingers hovered over the keyboard. And then Emily smiled. Then you leave him exactly how he left me, thinking he won. Sophia didn't reply immediately. Emily knew she wouldn't. Because right now, Sophia wasn't just reading messages. She was seeing Adam for what he truly was. Seeing how every whispered promise, every charming grin, every late-night excuse had been part of a script he had perfected over time. A performance meant to keep women like her, like Emily, locked in place, second-guessing their own instincts. Emily let the moment breathe. She imagined Sophia sitting on the edge of her bed, phone gripped tightly, scrolling through the messages she had just received, reading and rereading them, processing the betrayal. And then, finally, he's a fucking liar. A single message, but packed with an anger Emily had been waiting for. Good. Anger was useful. Anger meant Sophia was ready, breaking the illusion. I can't believe I didn't see it. Emily had been expecting this reaction. It always came first. The self-blame, the internalized shame of falling for someone's manipulation, of trusting the wrong person. She knew the exact words to use. It's not your fault. He's done this before. He's good at it. What I should have. No. You should have been loved properly. You should have been treated with respect. Instead, he chose to lie. Silence? Then you're right. Of course she was. But now came the important part. Emily hadn't gone this far just for Sophia to cry and walk away quietly. Adam didn't deserve a peaceful breakup. He deserved to feel everything. You want to know how to make him regret it? Emily typed. A pause. Then, Emily's fingers moved quickly. You don't beg. You don't cry. You don't fight with him. You act like you know exactly who he is, and you let him destroy himself. Sophia was quiet for a long time. Emily let her sit with the words, knowing they were planting themselves deeper, taking root. Tell me what to do. Emily leaned back, satisfied. The perfect goodbye. Adam was used to a specific type of breakup, the kind where the girl was heartbroken, devastated, desperate for answers. That's what he fed off. The idea that he was so important, so unforgettable, that women fell apart without him. He expected Sophia to fight. Instead, she did exactly what Emily told her to. First, silence. She didn't text him for an entire day. No calls, no dramatic accusations, no demands for an explanation. Adam, of course, noticed. Babe, everything okay? She didn't answer. Hours later, are you mad? I feel like something's off. She still didn't answer. And Emily knew right then Adam was already spiraling. He needed to feel in control. The moment he lost his grip, panic would set in. Sophia finally responded, but only when she was ready. Hey, can we talk later? I'm busy right now. Short, detached, unbothered. Emily imagined the way Adam's mind must have raced. Busy with what? His ego wouldn't allow him to believe she was actually moving on. Not yet. Yeah, of course. Can I come over? No, I'll call you when I have time. Emily almost laughed at how predictable he was. Adam had spent their entire relationship training Sophia to chase after him. And now, the second she stopped, he was the one chasing her. The final move, the real confrontation happened in a quiet cafe. Not a screaming match. Not a dramatic public breakdown. A calm, deliberate execution. Sophia arrived first. She ordered tea, sat by the window. When Adam walked in, his usual smirk was in place, but Emily could see the tension in the way he adjusted his jacket, the way his eyes flicked around like he was trying to read the situation. He leaned in to kiss Sophia's cheek. She turned slightly, letting his lips land awkwardly near her jaw instead. A minor rejection, but one he definitely noticed. He slid into the seat across from her. "So, you wanted to talk?" His tone was light, but Emily could hear the strain underneath. Sophia stirred her tea. She let the silence sit. Adam shifted uncomfortably. "Is everything okay?" She finally looked up, meeting his gaze. "I know." 3 simple words, but they changed everything. Adam's smirk faltered. "You know what?" Sophia tilted her head slightly. "Don't do that." "Do what?" He let out a breathy chuckle, but there was nothing relaxed about it. "Lie to me." Adam blinked, his hands curled into fists on the table before he forced them to relax. "I don't know what you're talking about, babe." Sophia pulled out her phone and placed it on the table, screen facing up. "Check your messages." Adam hesitated, a fraction of a second too long. Sophia tapped the screen, the messages opened, and there they were. Every conversation, every deleted text, every little secret he thought had disappeared. Adam's face drained of color. "What the fuck?" "I didn't go looking, Adam," she exhaled, shaking her head. "But you made me see it." Adam's mouth opened, then closed. He scrambled for something to say, something to flip the situation back in his favor. "You don't understand." Sophia stood up, calm, unshaken. "No, I do. And I'm done." She picked up her bag, took one last sip of her tea, and walked away. No yelling, no crying, just an exit. And for the first time in Adam's life, he was the one left sitting there, watching someone slip away, knowing there was absolutely nothing he could do to stop it. Adam sat frozen in his chair, fingers twitching near his untouched coffee. The cafe buzzed around him, couples talking in hushed voices, the soft clinking of spoons against porcelain. But for the first time, he wasn't the center of attention. No one cared that he was unraveling. Sophia was gone. She had walked away with a calm so absolute, so final, that it rattled him in a way he couldn't explain. This wasn't how it was supposed to happen. Women cried, they begged, they fought for him. Sophia hadn't, and that terrified him. A deafening silence. The first thing he did was check his phone. It was pure reflex, searching for proof that this wasn't real. Maybe she would text. Maybe she was just putting on a show, just waiting for him to reach out. But when he tapped on her name, something cold twisted in his gut. Chat deleted. No last words, no parting insults, not even an unsent message. Just nothing. A strange feeling clawed at him. It wasn't sadness, it wasn't anger. It was something worse. Emptiness. Desperation tastes bitter. He waited 2 hours before calling. The dial tone rang and rang and rang. The number you have reached is unavailable. He cursed under his breath. Tried again. Same response. He switched to Instagram. Block. He checked Facebook. Block. His hands tightened around his phone. She was cutting him out completely, erasing him. And the worst part, he didn't even get to defend himself. The fear of being forgotten. The days that followed felt surreal. He caught himself staring at his phone more often than he wanted to admit. Not because he was waiting for her to text, of course not. He didn't care that much. Except he did. Her silence wasn't just silence, it was a statement. Sophia had left without giving him a chance to fight for her. And that meant he had never mattered at all. For the first time in his life, Adam felt small, a ghost in his own story. 2 weeks passed, he went through the motions, parties, drinks, dates, but something was off. At first, he convinced himself it was nothing. He'd done this before. Girls came and went. Some took longer to forget than others. But then, one night, he saw a photo. Sophia laughing, her arm wrapped around another friend, a cocktail in hand, lips painted red. She looked happy, not fake smile, hoping I run into my ex happy. Actually happy. And that was the moment Adam realized the game had changed. Because he was no longer in control, he wasn't the one leaving an impression, he was the one being forgotten. The message that came too late. At 2:37 a.m., after one too many drinks and a gnawing sense of regret, he did the one thing he swore he wouldn't do. He opened their last conversation, typed, deleted, type again. Finally, he sent it. "Did you plan this?" Seconds passed, then minutes. No response. But somewhere across the city, in a dimly lit apartment, Emily's phone lit up. She smirked, and without hesitation, she deleted the message.